No, Mr. Chomps, this is not an episode for children. Greetings, Sentinels fans. Let's be frank, there are a lot of beautiful men in this game. It's a pretty normal thing in fiction that characters are created to look appealing to the audience. Heroes, villains, side characters, they're all fair game. So I think it's time to celebrate that. However, there is a problem. Despite what my peers in high school might think, I'm not interested in men. So I might not be a perfect judge for men's attractiveness. However, my friends on the Letters Page Discord server did most of the work for me a few months ago, creating a list and ranking all the male characters in terms of attractiveness. So I'm going to use the results they gathered as a reference. So, without much further ado, let's look for Sentinel Comics' Sexiest Men Alive. So how am I doing this? Well, the judging of the attractiveness was done on a 0 through 4 scale, with a 0 being ew and 4 being ooh, baby. Every person who got a 3 gets at least an honorable mention in this list. However, while the score gets them on the list, it's my personal opinion that decides where they go on the list, with the only extra rule being that the 3.5s go higher on the list than the 3s. Number 10, Fright Train. Woof. How can you go wrong with big, tall, and muscular? Size alone gets him a ton of points, and the fact that he is shirtless helps. He got a 3 on the score. However, the big issue here is his silly-looking cowcatcher helmet. He doesn't always wear it, but he does often enough that it gets distracting. Number 9, Setback. He's cute. It's not just the physique, but it's the fact that he's so gosh darn pleasant. He's a puppy dog in human form. He doesn't quite hit the drop-dead gorgeous looks that other heroes get, but his demeanor never fails to make me smile. Number 8, Stuntman. And here's your classic pretty boy. He is handsome and he knows it. His demeanor is also fun, in that he's clearly having a blast when he is in the thick of it. However, he does lose points because of that scar. Not that the scar is there, mind you, but because he decided to cover it up. And covering it up draws more attention to it than the scar would by itself. Really man, embrace it. That can only make your face more interesting to look at. Number 7, Captain Cosmic. And here's Space Dad. A British man with perfect facial hair and a lovely smile, not to mention he rocks that jacket. It is pretty easy to believe that this guy would have very active ongoing romantic subplots in his books, to the point where his unofficial title of Space Dad is fairly ironic. Number 6, Raw. Heads up, we got another shirtless guy. While Fright Train got points on size and muscles, Raw's physique is much more realistic and attainable. And when he goes all out on that beard, it really works for him. Number 5, Apostate. Do you like bad boys? This is the last entry of the 3s before we get to the 3.5s. And honestly, I think he ought to have scored higher. Apostate has the ideal physique, and he owns that look. He can appeal to those who like the emo look, to those who like the bad boys, and those who like the devil theming. He always wears that evil smile that implies he finds something funny, but he isn't going to tell you what it is. Number 4, Chrono Ranger. Here we get the first entry that scored a 3.5 out of 4. And spoilers, none of them scored a perfect 4. I guess the judges are all into different things. I put Chrono Ranger at the bottom of the 3.5s because I just don't quite get his appeal. More on that in the honorable mentions. He does have an excellent quality of mystery with him, with the hat often shading his face and an arm hidden by his poncho. He also pulls off that rugged look very well, implying a guy who's pretty much seen it all, even if he's being tossed in a completely new situation. Good stoic quality there. Also, fun fact, the artist has very particular opinions about how you draw his butt. Number 3, Argent Adept. Let me play you a song. Another one I don't quite get, but I understand better than Chrono. He does have those pretty boy looks. Beautiful red hair. It's always the redheads. And of course, he's a musician. Any guy who can make music is automatically sexier than a guy of the same looks, but can't sing. Number 2, Haka. Woof again. Take your pick of his qualities. His size, his musculature, his tattoos, his glee at a good fight, his intelligence, or his surprisingly kind and nurturing personality. There's a lot to like about this guy. He's simply fantastic. Now before we get to number 1, here are a few honorable mentions. The rest of the male characters who got a score of 3. Citizens Hammer and Anvil. These two totally do not look like certain game creators that we may or may not know. Hammer's murderous glee and Anvil's stoicism, and his beard, make them very pleasant to see. Legacy and Greatest Legacy. Both the Paul Parsons have that strong quality and a very strong dad vibe for those who like that. Mr. Fixer. Apparently the man still has game even at his age. He has a history of looking good and breaking hearts in his youth, and even though he is breaking far fewer hearts these days, he still maintains his figure. Although that Darkwatch version. Dude. Though I suppose the Darkwatch version is a zombie, so I guess that kind of complicates things. And then, the Naturalist. And this is one that I fought for. The Naturalist needed to be high on the list. Why? This card, mostly, where we see Mr. Conte out of costume. And man, he looks good. Honestly, if Chrono Ranger scored a 3 instead of a 3.5, then the Naturalist would be on the list and Chrono Ranger would not be. But I have to follow my own rules. The top scorers have to get to the top of the list. Anyways, it's time for number 1. And the winner of Sentinel Comics' Sexiest Man Alive is Baron Blade. Yes, our favorite Lithuanian evil mastermind is also sporting the best looks of the cast. He has it all: the nerdy science look, the bad boy appeal, that shit-eating grin, and tasteful salt and pepper hair. He's had scarring of various degrees and a surprisingly muscular frame. The loss of an eye, a face, and an arm does not slow him down. And all of this covered in a thick layer of self-confidence, bordering on arrogant. Perfect for devising evil plans or simply acting on impulse. Give Mr. Ramanat a hand! Oh, wait, bad choice of words. And of course, if your favorite man did not make the list, there is always next year. Anyways, I hope you had a great time. Take care, friends.
Okay. Call me if you need me.
Alright.
Love
Have
you.
fun.
Love you.
Love you. My hair's getting in my eye. That joke would have worked. That joke would have worked much better when I had longer hair.